Hi everybody, this is Leonard, and I'm going to do a little short video on how to lower your Fiat or Steyr Puch without doing any damage to your suspension or side effects. If you want to run a disc brakes in the front, you can actually use a Fiat X19 wheel, and there's enough clearance in the wheel well to get away with running brakes with the wheel actually sticking inside the wheel well where it belongs. Now the only negative effect is you need some negative camber on the wheel because it's the way the Fiats are set up stock, they're a bit positive. So the first thing I did to lower the Fiat, in the very bottom rung here you see a standard crossbar which holds these A-arms onto the chassis. Now what I did is I cut one of the ends of the tabs of the A-arm off and welded it onto another brand new one. So it requires the purchase of two cross links like you see here, and then you go to a professional welder who's got a high quality welder, and don't attempt this yourself because it needs to be welded properly here. There's a lot of stress on this part. And then have them welded in, and what I did is I put a filler in there of about, I think it is about 5/16, and it gave me about an inch difference between the hole locations. So when you bolt this up, instead of bolting the stock one on, you bolt the bottom rung on of this one, and this goes on like this. So what it does, it raises the location of the A-arm on the chassis about an inch, and that drops, it raises the tire suspension and then into the wheel well higher of about an inch. So basically you're lowering the car an inch. And then these are the A-arms that physically go onto it. They sit on like this, one on both sides, and then it's held to the top of the kingpin. Now what I've done, and I'm going to experiment with here pretty quick, I'm looking for a negative wheel well. In other words, I want the top of the tire on the inside of the wheel well towards the middle of the car, and the bottom of the tire I want sticking out a little bit. So in order to achieve that, what I've done is this is a stock A-arm length, stock length, and then I had one cut in half, and then professionally welded on both sides, as you can see here. And that one is physically 1/4 of an inch shorter than the stock one, and this set here is 1/2 inch shorter than the stock one. So here's a stock one, and then I made 4 of each. That way you can do both sides. There's 2 arms that go on per side. Actually, there's 2 arms per side. And then that will bring the tire in physically on the top of the tire for some negative camber. Now the reason I did that is because the way the Fiat one is set up right now, bone stock, even with the 1-inch lift on it, I'm neutral. In order to set the caster, in other words, you're going to wind up putting shims here's the frame of the car, and there's shims that would go in between this to move it physically in and out like this, and that'll control some of your control the top of the wheel as far as how much camber you've got built into it. And so in order to achieve that, I have to go negative. I have to shorten the arms to get a negative situation where I can put shims behind it, and then physically adjust it as necessary. I made 2 different lengths because this will give me some room to work with, and these arms aren't too expensive. You can get them from Robert Puch, and he physically has these arms in stock. These are reproductions. This is the factory original. The factory original has the bushing pressed into it. The repo ones, actually you can pop this bushing out of there. It's not in there with that great a force. And then I might up, if everything works well on these things, I might take these bushings and put some JB weld on there and lock them in there. Or I might run a Delrin bushing where there's actually physically no rubber bushing in there at all for a better feel of the suspension. That's it for now. I hope I've helped. If you're confused or need more information, you can email me or you can send me a note and I'll get back to you. Thank you much. Bye.